Hey y'all, so I wanted to come on here before we get started. This is my first healing hour conversation, and I'm really excited about it. It takes a lot to get someone else on your podcast, although I really find that these conversations are probably the most valuable nuggets that you can give someone because you're hearing a couple of people talk about their experiences and it just flows. And I'm really happy about our conversation because it really reflected what I foresee in our healing conversations. So, moving forward, when I have these, you can rest assured that it's going to be with a mom about her personal experience as a mom, about the things that we don't typically talk about, things that are shunned or looked down upon, or we kind of act like isn't happening in our mothering community. And there's nothing that we won't talk about. There's nothing that's off limits. The moms that come on here are allowed to be themselves, speak themselves, because I know that although we may have differing opinions, we can all see ourselves in each other. And I really believe in the power of reflection and insight. And so when another mom is talking about her experience, one, oftentimes you may be surprised because a lot of shit that we go through, we think that it's just us. We don't think anybody else has that going on, and that's just simply not the case. We are more alike than we are different. And even in areas that we are different, it doesn't mean that there's right or wrong. It gives us a perspective to think of. Like, if you disagree with something that, I feel strongly about, I can try, now that we have this rapport, now that we have this relationship, and I see you as a human being and not, someone out to get me, or, oh, that's her over there. We can really just kind of reflect on each other, and I can see things or try to see things from your perspective. For me, the biggest insights I've had is listening to other people speak about their experiences and their thoughts about that and how they process things. So these conversations are going to be filled with my mom's personal experience, the things that they've gone through, what has worked, what hasn't. There will be no rhyme or reason. We might start off with one thing and end up with on a whole nother subject, because this is a healing conversation. Because speaking things, talking things out, being honest, being vulnerable, tapping into our own inner knowing while we're talking is really part of the healing journey. And not only for ourselves, for the moms that are listening, because the more you hear me speak about, how difficult it was to be a teen mom, or having to go to college, excuse me, being in college and having to balance that, or even living with my mom through college and how that dynamic worked out, or when I got out on my own, what things I went through. Like, there's so much that I plan to talk about here and talk with other moms about their experiences. Sometimes there will be quote unquote experts, so like people who actually get paid for certain subjects. So maybe there's a life coach on here that deals directly with moms of toddlers, or there's a teen coach or a parent coach, or people who deal with finances, any kind of given thing. And then sometimes there's moms who are mom experts, like, hey, I'm here to be vulnerable and share with you my experience. And I really think that's powerful, because the more we talk about it, the more we can debunk the shame that's around what we go through as moms, what we experience, what we feel we must just carry alone. And the more we can build community around normalizing the crazy, sometimes fucked up, irritating, just exhausting, draining part of motherhood. And of course, there will be beautiful conversations as well. But I feel as though people love to talk about those things, and there's a time and place, but I want to create a space where we can feel vulnerable and we can be honest and we can just see ourselves in another mother and, feel for her, build with her, support her, receive support. There's just endless amount of opportunities in these conversations. With that being said, if you're a mom and you are comfortable coming on this podcast and having these conversations, feel free to reach out. It's a simple process. Ooh, I'm drinking something that's causing all kinds of stuff. It's a simple process. I got a questionnaire just to kind of make sure it's a good fit and to get to know more about you. And we get that shit scheduled. Nobody is off limits. Everybody is important here. Every woman, every mother has something that someone else can benefit from, and something that she can heal from while talking about her experience on these conversations. So I'm loving that you're here. I love that you've taken the time out to listen. I know that you could have put your ears anywhere else. Thank you so very much. And please, if you feel called and moved and this served you, share it with another mom. Y'all be blessed. And here we go. Hello and welcome. I'm Regina, your host and mindset coach. This is the Moms Who Achieve podcast, where we discuss motherhood, mindset, money, and everything in between to equip first-generation change makers with the tools they need to create the lives they want and deserve by managing their minds and taking massive action. I am super ecstatic that you're here, and I'm hopeful that with an open mind, you'll leave with exactly what you came for. Let's go. All right. Okay, thank you, Talyssa, for coming on here. Hey, everybody. So this is actually my first interview. I'm super excited. And I told her before we started, I'm nervous as fuck. So y'all we about to look this fuck. I just feel like I got to be real about that. But thank you for coming on. She is super brave.
Absolutely.
When I asked you, you was just like, yeah, absolutely. And these are the things I want to talk about. Yes, let's do it. So we're here to talk about a few things. I'm going to let Talyssa introduce herself, but I have known her forever. Was it middle school or high school? I feel like we knew each other like in neighborhoods anyway.
Right.
And did we ever we went to high school together? Were you always in a different high school and we just knew each other from the streets?
Yeah, probably something like that.
Dang,
It's been forever.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Moore.
Okay, so we were, but I know we seen each other outside.
And then I went to John Marshall for middle school.
Nope, didn't go there. So it must have been high school, but I feel like I met you before then. So anyway, we go way, way back. We have similar stories. I'm going to let her introduce herself and you guys will learn about her as we flow through this. But I'm super excited to talk to her because these are what I'm going to call healing hours. We're going to just let the conversation flow, how they flow. But it's going to be about topics that I feel like moms don't necessarily get to hear talked about truthfully and authentically. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Let's get started. So Talyssa, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. Now I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us what you want us to know. What's been up with you? How many babies you got? And why did you say yes to me? Because I need to know.
I'm Talyssa Cuffee. I am a mother of 4. Their ages are 18, 15, 9, and 4. And I don't know, I'm busy all the time now. It seems like I have multiple jobs. I currently am employed with Adidas. I work with Cafe, and I am an aspiring entrepreneur. I feel like I've been trying to be an entrepreneur for a while now, and things are just finally shaping up in my life where I'm ready to do it.
Yeah. Cafe. I actually forgot that you were very involved with Cafe. Those listening, Cafe, I can't remember what the C and A is. It Community Action Far East Side?
Community Alliance for the Far East Side.
I love that place, and I've never actually been involved just by like talking to you and other people and what they're doing here in our city where we grew up on, the side of town we grew up on. They're actually on my list of people to get in contact with. So thank you for what you do there.
We do great stuff over there.
Y'all really do. And I want Ryan to start speaking Spanish, start learning that. And I know y'all have like so many Spanish speaking people there.
Yes.
So thank you for that. All right. You mentioned entrepreneurship. Let's get into it. Tell me that made me think about HerSheMe. So let us know, let everyone who doesn't know what it's all about, where it came from, and what you are envisioning it to be.
Okay, so HerSheMe is an idea that I had when I was like 22, 21, but I didn't do anything with it for a while. And then I finally got into it about 27. And it is an organization that was geared to the empowerment of young ladies. Basically, I was bullied in middle school, coming from California, moving to Indiana, I was bullied. And girls were just so mean and so catty. And I'm not naturally a mean person. So like I see beauty in everything. I see friendships everywhere. Like I don't meet a stranger. And I don't understand why kids nowadays they're just not nice. I know kids have never been nice, but I feel like it's at an all-time high. And I know it starts with them having role models and learning those behaviors of being able to communicate and get along with your peers. So HerSheMe was geared toward building strong foundations in young ladies to help them be able to be empowered for themselves, but learn unity within each other as well.
Yeah. And so I know this is something you've been working on. I think it's a beautiful idea since you first told me about it. And I love the name because it just gives you that like essence, like her, she, me, like I see unity in that. And I see like, we're not very different, and it kind of brings everybody together. So when this has flourished into what you envision, what do you see it being like and doing for the community?
Oh, I don't know.
You can have anything you want. You don't have to worry
Um,
about how it's gonna work.
I want to be able to have a platform where I can get together, do activities with young ladies, lead them, guide them, teach them skills, just a place for mentorship. I feel like that was a big thing for me. I didn't feel like I fit in when I was a teen girl.
Mm,
I had low self esteem. I didn't feel like I had someone I could talk to. Of course, you know, you can always go, well, not always. Some girls can't go to their mothers, but I had
yeah.
a mother who was present, but she was a single mother. And so she was gone all the time. I was the oldest. I was helping my younger siblings. It wasn't always, I guess, made a space where I could feel like, I don't know, me, or, you know, had my own place, I guess. And
Yeah.
I would like to create a safe space for young women to be able to have their own space.
Yeah. And what I think is powerful in that is like when we do feel like we belong, we do feel like there's a space for us to be ourselves. It gives us time to like really think about, what do I like? What do I
Yeah.
want? And create our own boundaries and stuff, right?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
Yeah, because when you're talking about that, as you were talking, I was thinking about like me as a teen and about like, girl, kids, listen,
Right.
me doing this podcast with kids, I had to just decide like, y'all gonna hear my kids in the background at some point. I'm sorry.
I didn't know if you can hear them banging on the window. I was like, oh my God.
Not really. I just picked up the energy like
Okay, good.
these damn kids.
Okay.
I mean, it
Right.
is
No,
what it
for
is,
real.
right? So,
Yep.
but I feel like that's really important because I think back, and this we can kind of segue into this about teen parenting. We both were teen moms, and I feel like at least my mom, and I'm getting it from you in prior conversations, like they did the best they could with the tools they had. They were out
Absolutely.
here single parenting, doing it on their own. They can't keep up everything. Hell, I have a whole husband and I'm struggling, right? So I couldn't imagine like
Yeah.
being able to try and also them having lots that they needed to heal, and that conversation really not being had around
Right.
healing
Them not
when it
even
looks like
realizing it. Right.
right, because we have such an advantage. It's okay now to talk about,
Yes.
I had this and this going on, I'm in my healing journey. That wasn't okay back then. You had to be a strong Black woman, strong woman in general.
Yep.
You can't let anybody know I got these kids, I got it together. And so I just could not imagine raising kids in the era that they were in as regards to mental health. But
Absolutely not.
because of that, I felt like I didn't have a space. It was so much I didn't get. And you can speak to that for you and like how you maybe think that did that play a part in you becoming a teen parent and what that looked like for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wasn't supported, I guess. I wasn't the pretty girl. You know, I was the oldest. I was the tomboy. I was the responsible one. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't never praised on my looks or my appearance or anything like that. So I think once I did start getting that attention as a teenager, it was, you know, it felt good. It was intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to be receiving it from the opposite sex and not having my father present all the time. Um, so I definitely think that helped to play a role in me becoming sexually active and liking that attention.
Oh, wow. That's actually a good point because when I think about how I got to be, a teen mom and what that entailed, I really never thought about that, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
what attracted me to just make the decisions that I made, and
yeah,
what was missing from the household. Wow. That's a deep piece on that because I'm just like processing as you're talking, like, yeah, actually, that probably had a lot to do with it. And for me too, it's like my mom had to be tough for so many reasons.
absolutely, absolutely.
So the love and comfort, or I guess the nurturing, wasn't as present as, and me and my mom talk about that too. I don't know if that was like a reality for you, but it wasn't present.
My mom was very nurturing when she was pregnant, but I mean, she worked all the time. She had
Mm.
ended up getting a really good job at RCI, and she was a supervisor, so she would be there long hours. She might leave right before we're getting up ready for school, and we might not see her until we're already in bed, and she's just coming in to say, "Hey, good night." It depends. Her schedule varied, but I do think I mean, whenever she was around, she was very affectionate. She would hug us, kiss us, and things like that. I think as I got older, it kind of got weirder because, like, I'm thinking about it right now. I don't know the last time I hugged my mom. Now that I'm thinking
Mm.
about it, and I know that I wasn't the most affectionate with Talia. Talia lacked a lot of the affection portion, and I know that came from me just kind of still being in my tomboy energy. I guess I was.
Yeah.
I just yeah. It was
And
weird.
Talia's your
It was a weird
oldest.
time. Yes, Talia's my
Yeah.
oldest, 18-year-old.
Yeah. So is it because your mom was when your mom was present, like she's hugging you, she's, definitely
Mm-hmm.
nurturing, but the timepiece is what, well, she wasn't around. So then it wasn't happening as much as maybe as you needed.
Absolutely.
Did you feel it weird to be like that towards her? Like, or did you just because of your age and in your element didn't see it even as important?
Yeah, I think at that time, no, I didn't see it as important. I was growing up, my mom, like I said, she when we were younger, she would hold us, kiss us. She was always loving. So I don't think I really noticed it until I'm older now and I'm looking back on it. I'm like, wow, this really just kind of stopped happening over, time.
Yeah. And your youngest is 4, so is there a difference in how you
Oh,
were?
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure,
Yeah. What is that
for
difference like?
sure. I'm softer now. Like I'm more tender. I'm more appreciative, especially with Talia being 18 now and being able to have a grown lady, that you birth standing in front of you, and now you got this little girl. You're so more cautious of your time and just how short them being an innocent little girl, how precious it is.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like you see, trying to see the example. Like you're looking at Talia and you're like, you could just see all of your child rearing or raising in her as she's young. And
Yes,
then it's like a second chance almost like, oh, I
yes,
remember when she was this young.
absolutely,
Yeah. Does she talk about
absolutely.
that? Does Talia talk about
Yeah,
that?
she notices the difference. She says it. Talia is she's amazing in the amount of grace that she gives me. When I say she is so patient with me, I apologize to her all the time, and she's like, "Why are you apologizing? Like you're a great mom. Like I
Oh,
should be sorry." And I'm just like, dude, like,
oh, that really
how
makes
can
me
I be mad at you?
emotional.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah. Because those
yeah,
older ones, man, they go through it with us.
they do. They really do. They
Yeah.
really do.
I feel like even if you're an adult, your oldest one still gets, like if you're an adult when you have children, your oldest one still gets the part of you that has no fucking idea what you're doing. And
Absolutely.
we still don't, but you get better, right?
It's your test child. Like it's really your trial and error child.
I'm telling you. And then spin on that you're a child when you had her. So she even
Oh my
gets
God.
more.
On everything.
So what do you think was missing? Like in regards to, I mean, people will be listening that weren't a teen mom, right? Um,
Right?
what do you think is the biggest difference? We know the age, but like what makes it what you have raised children as an adult woman because you have your
Yes.
4-year old. What do you feel like is that the biggest missing piece as boom, you had this baby when you what 17?
15. I was 15 when I had
15.
Talia. I turned
Wow.
16 3 months after she was born.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So baby, right? Like,
Yes.
what do you think? And I know we know like the brain development and you're a teen yourself, but like the intricate pieces of this baby's in front of you at 16 and this baby's in front of you as an adult, like the big difference that you're like, man, that was missing or what?
I think self-awareness, like being aware of who I am as a person and that it's okay for that to be different day to day or to look
Mm-hmm.
different day to day. Um, when I had Talia, it was so important to me for nobody to tell me that my mama took care of my child because
Woo!
I was a child. Like that, I was so prideful about that. Like, ain't nobody gonna tell me that she take care of my baby. Like, no. And
Woo,
baby, when I say I'm so thankful for a village
woo.
at 34, yes, like
Yes. I'm writing that down because that's a whole series
no, it is
about having kids as a
the power.
teen,
Yes,
power, pride, needing to prove something,
yes,
wanting to make your mom proud because she's already embarrassed.
absolutely,
Woo.
absolutely. And that was a big thing for me. Like my mom was a teen mom, but she was very successful for herself. She made a very hard choice when we moved. Like I said, I'm not from here. I'm from California. We moved here. She didn't have any family. My
Wow.
my father's side, my dad's side was our family that lived here. And when she chose to stay, like she knew that was like I'm giving up all my family. Even after they divorced and separated, she chose to stay here because the economy was better. The cost of living was more affordable for a single mother, and she was able to be a lot more successful than she could have or might have been staying in California.
Wow. And I knew you were from Cali, but I didn't know you came so late. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Middle school. I did not know that.
yeah, fifth grade, fifth grade.
Wow. That's
I
like a
was here in
super
fifth grade.
important time.
When I say culture shock, culture shock,
Yes.
culture shock. And I
Wow.
used to always, people used to like laugh at me when I say it, but I'd be like, there's like a cloud of childhood trauma over the city of Indianapolis. Like when I moved here, the things that they were talking about in fifth grade and middle school, I was not being exposed to that stuff in California. We were not worried about those things or talking about those things. And I have been training with IYI, Indiana Youth Institute, and I have the numbers that actually can statistically break down that unfortunately we have a higher rate of neglect, child abuse, youth suicide, and all these different depression, all these different horrible traumas in childhood here in Indiana compared even nationally. They have the records for nationwide.
Wow. I didn't know that. And I also need to look at IYI because I don't think I've heard of them.
Yes, Indiana Youth Institute. One of our alumni sisters, Heather Savage. I don't know if you know her
I
or
remember
know
that
who that is.
name.
Okay. She is the director over there. So I've been able to be connected through Cafe and Heather and have been available to go to so many great trainings the last 2 months. I have been flushed with so much knowledge and it's just been an awesome experience.
Preparing you for HerSheMe for sure. Like you just, you know what I mean? Like you're like
Yes,
doing the work now. This
absolutely.
is so awesome. But I'm gonna write that down because I got to have you on here to talk about the experience of I want to ask you, but like I just know it's such a deeper
It's okay.
conversation about like how it is to be a teen mom and what you have to prove. So for you though, just like the tip of it, when you had your baby, when you're like, no one could say that I didn't take care of my child, like what came up for you? Like, why were you even thinking about that? And what were you fearful of happening?
I don't know. I think it was just because the way my mother is, and I know how my mother is, it so easily could have became like a Talia, my little sister type situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So your mom was ready to like just do
Oh, yeah,
whatever you needed.
absolutely. If I would have been a deadbeat mama or a lazy teen parent, she absolutely would have stepped in because that's the type of mother, type of person she is. But she also knows me, and I am one of those people who learn through tough love. Like I have to learn things firsthand. I'm not going to take your word for it. I have to touch the fire to know it's
Okay, Mario, that's my Otis.
right. And so, yeah, once she got here and I like life got real, she was like, no, like this is your baby. You got this
Mm.
and you're gonna raise her. And I mean, that was in my mind anyway. So with her reaffirming that, like not letting me have the slack and slacking up, that sold me on it. Like I'm a mother.
And that says a lot, excuse me, about you because you had the opportunity to kind of throw parenting to the side in a time where it's understandable, like 15, 16,
Absolutely.
you just now getting into like teen years should be fun and doing this and doing that. So that says a lot about you from even back then, your dedication, like for being a mom, because
Absolutely.
some teen moms have no choice. Like my mom ain't doing, they can be like, my mom's not doing anything, or they didn't have a mom. They had to make it happen, but you were in a safe
Yeah.
space where you could have just been like, oh, Talia be fine, and did your thing. So kudos to you for that,
And
for real.
thank God, because I had a C-section with her, and I had
Mm,
postpartum depression for like the first 4 or 5 months. It was hard for me to
wow.
even want to hold Talia. It was difficult.
And mix that in with being a baby yourself.
No, yes, my mind, when I
Wow.
say mental health, honey, it was all over the place. My body, physically, the changes that go on with our body, like to experience that at so young, like it was crazy. I was feeling all kinds of different emotions.
Yeah, that reminds me when you said our body. I remember when I had Mario, and you do think about that. And
Yeah,
being so young, of course, I snap right back, right? But in my mind, you got all this like belly fat, and you're
yeah.
not used to it. Girl, I'm sitting on the floor doing a million sit-ups. He crying like, "Hold on, I gotta do this first."
Where
That brought up a memory. Hadn't even thought about that in a while. But I don't think I've ever heard, and I'm gonna do some research on that. I've never heard anybody talk about postpartum depression in teens that have babies.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
a
think I hear
whole
anyone talk about it either.
damn. I don't think I ever, and I've shut off a lot of that. I'm still like working on those memories and going through that
Yeah,
process, but I don't really know if that was something that I really dealt with. So speaking of that, like also being a teen mom, I know what's also popular, or what happens oftentimes is you end up also being a single mom. Was that your experience?
ooh, my experience was crazy. Um, no, it wasn't my experience. I did go through my pregnancy alone, but I started dating. There was a guy who had wanted to already date me during the time that I was pregnant with Talia, and I was like, dude, like, no, I'm pregnant. Like, leave me alone. By the time Talia was 6 months, the dude had won me over, and I started dating him, and we had a long, relationship. And um, yeah, I don't know. There,
Yeah.
ooh, just thought about a lot of different memories with that question.
Yeah, stuff you probably haven't even thought about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they're all
So
good things. It's just
and
crazy.
that's beautiful because not many people have that story to be a teen mom and also have someone else that is being present and helping. So I'm
Right?
glad that Talia had that experience and you had that support for sure.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about you have 4 children now. You said their ages 4, 9, and 15, and then Talia's 18. So
Yep.
tell me about this 18-year-old. Tell me about what it's
Oh.
like to have a grown ass woman as a child.
Mm, mm. Is she really grown, Gina? Is she really like
Right. Legally,
18?
I say.
Right? They need
Let's
to
say
fix
that.
this.
Let's
We're
say
going to
that.
legislate it.
Let's
Um,
say that legally, because Mario now
it
is actually
is.
talking about that because he'll be 18 in I don't know, he'll be 18 in February, whatever, a few months, 6, 7 months. And he actually said that. He was like, can you believe I'm gonna be 18? I don't really feel like an adult, but I can be an adult then, so he even
Yeah.
knows like,
And I think it's even more, teens now are even more aware of like their power or their advantage of being an 18-year-old because of social media and all the things that they're exposed to and see. But like, it's so weird. I don't know, this 18-year-old woman that I birthed, all these years ago is just so different
yeah.
than what I imagined her to be and even what I've known her to be up until this point.
Mm,
So it's I'm in a transitional period with Talia.
yeah.
Um, she's very much still my baby. I very much still love her, but I really do have to learn. Well, I have learned to respect her boundaries and let her just. She gotta. Life is life, and right, like she has to figure out her way through this
Yeah. What is your biggest fear though with her being an adult and actually being able to make those decisions, whether we feel she's ready or
thing?
not?
Ooh, ooh. I mean, where do we start? She's
I
gorgeous.
figured.
She's intelligent. She's a fun time. There's so many different dangers out here. I mean, the list. Where do you want me to start?
Right. And it even deeper than that is the fear maybe connected at all to how you parented and maybe questioning, did you prepare her?
Oh,
Like
ooh,
where is that? What's that kind of fear?
absolutely, absolutely. There's parts of that. Absolutely. Um, I think for the most part, though, like these last 4 or 5 years for all of us have been so different and so just out of our norm that I have grown to be very blunt with my children, especially those oldest two, because it just came to a point like lying to them blinds them from what's really going on. And
Mm.
if you, I feel like sugarcoat or spoon feed them what you feel like is safe for them to know, are you really helping them to have the full knowledge to navigate through the world the way they need to? So on one end, I'm like, yes, I feel like I've equipped her to do great things, and I know she's going to do great things. On the other end, it's like, did I teach her everything that she needs to know? Do we ever like? I mean, we're
Mm.
what 30? We're in our 30s, and we're still figuring things out as we go. You know, so to have this 18-year-old out here with this limited amount of information that she has,
And
scary.
thinking likely she has it all. She
Oh,
knows what she's
of course. You know what 18-year-old women think. We are at our prime at 18. We what? We are grown.
but you made a really good point. Is it even possible to equip them with everything they need?
Is
And
it?
I personally, when I think about that, man, I think that, like you said, we don't know everything. I think that my experience is not their experience.
Absolutely not.
So me, like, let me tell you all these things. And like you said, you can also get just overwhelmed because I've been through this. Like when Mario, I think when he turned 16, 15, I had this time where like I had these lists of all these things. Like we
Yep.
gotta talk about this and we gotta talk about this, we gotta talk about it. And it became like this checklist type shit. And it's like, hold on, wait. He's supposed to experience life himself and not through the
Yes.
lens of me and my experience. So I feel like there's a balance. I'm not sure if I have that balance, but I get exactly what you're talking about like it's my responsibility to equip you, to be honest with you. Like, listen, this and this and this is out there, but then not to, well, I guess not to make it seem as to where like my truth is yours. Cause I want them to
Yeah.
create their own truth.
Absolutely.
That's a
Absolutely.
that's a difficult balance, balancing the realities of life. And like you said, because Talia is gorgeous. And in person, I've seen her just a beautiful spirit. And thinking about who could and would and wants to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. That is scary.
Is she prepared? Will she be able to see that for herself? Does she know how to handle it when it does happen? Because they're going to
Right.
try, right?
Absolutely.
And then also not like bogging them down with that fear so they can
Yeah.
experience life for themselves. It's just a really hard balance. And I don't even know how you know if you have that balance. I really don't. So, what are conversations with her as a grown woman? Like, are y'all talking about sex? Are y'all, some
Of
parents,
course.
yeah, some parents like if you did drink and do drugs, whatever, with their kids, like you're an adult. Like, how is that to parent an adult as a woman?
Unfortunately, I feel like my parenting style has definitely has a dash of nagging in it. My mom was a nagger, and so like I know that I have the naggy tone sometimes, and I think sometimes they tune me out. But with me being aware of it, I know how to correct myself and come back to the conversation when they are ready to be alert to what I'm saying.
Mm.
But it's just, I mean, talking to her. I try to talk to her, not necessarily like she's my friend, but to an extent, yeah, you have to give her that comfort of knowing that she's in a safe space and can talk to you. Like you want your children to come to you and confide in you like you are their friends,
Yeah.
especially when they're out here in this world.
Yes,
You want
doing their
them to
own
trust
thing.
you. Yes, you want them to come to you first. You want them to. So, just allowing her to have somewhere safe to speak, to be herself, to tell me her truth, to know
Mhm.
that I'm gonna nag a little bit and I'm gonna complain because I'm a mama and that's what I do. But to know that you can tell me whatever it is you need to tell me, I'm gonna have your back.
Yes. Oh, I love that. To like be there for her. No, hey, this is your choice. You do your own thing, but I'm here for you, like regardless.
Absolutely.
I sensed a bit of hesitation when you talked about being her friend. Let's talk about that because especially in the Black culture, I ain't your friend. And it continues throughout that. But what are some
Yes.
benefits that you see in actually parenting in a way that, you know what, I am your friend and that authority still can be there while being your friend?
Yeah.
Or do you even feel that
It
way?
definitely was. No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There was hesitation because I am mixed about it. Like, I want that respect as your mother. You know, I want to be your mother figure. But at what expense? You know, I think sometimes we get so caught up in, like you said, in our culture, I'm not your friend. Don't talk to me like I'm your friend. I'm your mama. You know, we demand this level of respect from our children, but we don't always give it back to them, you know, and make them want
Mm.
to respect us. And I feel like in learning more, I already was aware of conscious discipline because at Head Start, that's how we taught.
And you were
So
amazing, y'all. She had Cameron
thank
is
you.
12 and she had Cameron in her Head Start class. And for anybody that knows, this is a side note that when you have to drop your babies off somewhere and you just
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the fuck is going on there, like God has blessed me to have people like you. I remember at the daycare, there was a woman that, Tashika, that I'm like, I was able to drop her off at 6 weeks and know she was fine. Like, so
Yes,
thank you. And everybody else that's out here doing
absolutely,
this hard work.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
sorry to cut you off, but I had to say
It's all
that.
right.
So
I
you said you
appreciate
knew
it. I
about
appreciate it.
the conscious
Conscious
parenting from
discipline.
that, okay, or
Yeah,
discipline. That's right. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so I was already taking like bits and pieces of it home and working with it with the kids, but it wasn't until like probably 3 years ago that like full on conscious parenting really became something that was prominent for me to do. And it's been a challenge, like, especially like we just said in our culture, what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. People will hear JV and give his opinion back to me in the store when I'm like, come on, dude, we need to hurry up. Don't you want to do? And he'd be like, no, I don't feel like doing that. And they're like, oh my God, like, oh, the
Like
disrespect.
they
And I'm
wait, and
like,
they're like, you got to smack him to the ground now, or
right,
you gonna do it when you get outside?
right. Like, no, like I asked the question, you know, kids are they're gonna be honest, if anything else. And you may not like what they have to say, but it's their truth. And why should they be punished for their truth? So it's and there's still those times where I'm like, Javian, like, hey, bruh, check your tone. Cause I'm about this close. Like, chill out. But
Listen, I'm still doing the work. Okay, Jamie, and like, come on, work with
no,
me.
for real. Yes, for real. And Javian is like my mirror child. If I had to be any of my kids, it would probably be Javian as a child. Like, he's full of energy. His is worse because he's a boy. But honey, yes, Javian gives me a run for my money.
I'll say, do you feel like those ones that are closer like you make it more difficult to really step outside of what you've known as a parent and do better?
Mm, at times, yes. At times, absolutely.
Yeah, because I
Because
think about
Javian
that.
pulls, ooh, he pulls I mean,
Yeah.
ooh,
And it just gets me to that thought when they say, like, when you're triggered by something, it has something to do with you. And I'm
yes,
grasping that. I'm
yes,
learning that, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm seeing it. Like, because stuff don't get
yeah.
on my nerves that I typically don't do, or what have you. Because yeah, Cameron's my, like, oh my God, I like a do-over. And it's like, I wonder about that. It's like the closer they are to
Yeah,
you, it helps you maybe see things in yourself that you're working
a
on, or,
hundred
or
percent,
whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
Through him, like, it is literally healing parts of my inner child. You know, me working with him and doing the work
Mm.
and being aware of what he needs and what he doesn't need, and being able to support him in ways that maybe I wasn't supported. I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was like in second grade,
Okay.
but the medications, one made my hair fall out, one messed with my liver count, and my mom was like, "We're done. She's just gonna have to figure this
Right.
out and balance herself
Damn.
out." With boys, ADHD is it's a little bit different. Girls, we sometimes can mask ours better. With boys, it's impulse. They're very impulsive, and my son is a boy's boy in every way of the word. He's rough, he's tough, he's gonna climb stuff. ADHD makes you want to climb the walls even more. So it's
Mm.
like my son has to stay busy.
Yeah.
He has to
Yeah.
stay busy, and
Yeah.
that was me when I was little. If I wasn't busy, I would get into mischief. I would find something to do.
Wow. And so what's beautiful about that though is, like, since you've had that diagnosis, you can kind of see around that, you can see through that and have more
Yes,
compassion for him, especially with him having, like you said, being a little bit worse on the spectrum, or more difficult to operate in the world of people who want you to
absolutely.
be the fuck still, basically.
Yes, and Javian's not like Javian is a CEO of a company. He thinks for himself.
I
He is
love
a
it.
leader. Kids love, like, I love the feeling. It feels like Javian is already a celebrity when we go to football practice and stuff. Like, that's Javian's mom. And I'm like, hi.
Yes, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me.
Right?
I love it. That's awesome. You mentioned your healing journey. I would love to ask you some questions about that because one thing we talked about when we decided to do this, you had mentioned like one of the things you're working through is learning to be present while healing.
Oof.
And I really loved how you said that because one, like healing looks different for everybody and they do it for different reasons. But that piece about also like being present, like what about healing makes it difficult for you to be present in the way you want to for your babies?
I've been present for my baby since I was a baby. So like and then like it's a many factors. Okay, many factors
Yes.
make it hard. Um, I just be wanting alone time. Like I just want to just I need silence sometimes. I get overstimulated and I didn't realize it. Like at one point I feel like I had mastered my ADHD and I had it under control. And then I think with stress and the pandemic and just different factors, it kind of like was re-triggered. And I didn't realize it until I had to go back into the workforce after I had Eris. Like it was hard for me to focus. Like people are
Mm,
talking to me and I'm looking at them talk and I'm not hearing nothing that they're saying. Like what did you say?
right.
um, but the hardest part I think is giving them their time and being actively a mother, not just coming home and having the routine of here's dinner, here you go, here's your clothes, getting a bath, your homework's
Yeah.
done, cool, let me check it. Just being there, actively present with them, because it's so easy to get thrown into, like I said, that routine of a robot mom. Where you're doing
Mm,
the same thing every day. You're going to work, you're getting the kids ready for school, you're, cooking dinner, doing laundry, excuse me, doing these things where you're not present. Like you're there, but you're not present with them in that moment.
yes, I 100% get what you're saying. I think any mom listening to this is going to say yes, because the more I talk to moms, the more that's a thing. Like, how do I balance me as a woman, as a human being, as a soul, and also be a mom? Because I don't know about you, but the more healing I do, the more I feel is very introspective. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be like inside. I can't be like momming and also like I have not mastered being able to do the two.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to like schedule this time to heal, which doesn't even make sense. Like we're on an everyday healing journey. So like being able to be healing or doing the healing work and being present for them in the moment that they need. And like you said, we have limited time. They're in school. As they get older, they're doing other things. So your time, at least in my experience, like the older they get, your time just gets cut shorter.
Yep.
Is that like for
Absolutely.
you too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking like I try to do like what do we try to do? Family meetings or movie time. It has never been so hard now. And I'm like, okay, it
Because
must be
this
because they're getting
person's over
older.
here, this person's over here, this is scheduled for this person. Oh no, they gotta go here.
Yes.
It's everybody's starting to be everywhere.
Yes. And with my
Yeah.
younger two being with me all the time, I'm like, I get to see the difference. Like, wow,
Yes.
I had all those years of them just here. And I didn't really
Yep.
realize the benefit. And these kids, like I have to schedule. Hey, y'all, check the Google Calendar. I would like for us to do, even if it's like a 30-minute emotional intelligence conversation, I got to schedule that shit. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Right. For real.
yeah. So it's
Who are
really
these people living
hard.
in my house?
Yes, and they want to, they got friends and they want. It's like you hear this, but until you experience it, like the older they get, the more they're like, "Peace out, I'm out of here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people are like, "Oh yeah, my kid's a homebody and stuff," but then I even find those kids like to be alone. They're not necessarily chilling with you.
Yep.
The older they
Yep.
get. So being able to
That's my
balance,
JJ.
is that JJ?
Yep, he's an introvert. He could chill by himself all day. He does not care. Y'all don't have to come in here. I'm good.
I
Like,
don't even know what that looks like.
yes, he be chilling,
I don't
chilling.
have
He's the
not
king of
one.
chilling.
So what is the benefit of that? Like what? I don't even know what
um,
that looks
there's
like. I
this.
don't have a kid like that yet.
She's like, what is this? It's
Seriously.
it's peaceful. Like you don't hear from the kid. So like I tell him all the time, like, dude, I have to make sure that you still here. You still my son. Like we good, right?
Wow.
Because
Wow.
he's just so to himself. And then Again, I'm into astrology, but he's a Scorpio male. So they're
Okay.
already, real guarded with their emotions and how they are anyway. So like he's just very to himself. He's very laid back. He's very simple. He'll get up before everybody else on the weekend, make his breakfast. He's like a little
Wow.
old man.
Yes, that's what I swear that's what I'm thinking. Like, can
Yes.
I watch him? I just want to see what he does. I just don't know what that's like.
Yes,
That's awesome.
he's very independent.
Yeah. So with your healing, what started you on this? How did you know, I got some healing I need to do? Or have you always known since you've been, had your babies at 15?
Oh no. No, I was definitely in denial, I'd say. Like, um, maybe aware but didn't want to face it type thing, I guess.
Mm,
Um, the pandemic is what really opened my eyes to it. Like having to sit down with these kids in the house, four walls for I don't know how many weeks it was.
wow.
And
Yes.
just sit with your shit. Like I had to face myself and see things, everything. Like my life just did a huge 180 within like a 2 year time span, and boom, then the pandemic. So it was like, what is going on? Where am I at? What is happening here?
Yeah. You couldn't busy yourself with all the things that are now shut
No,
down.
yeah, there was no way to distract myself. There was nothing to do but look at these kids, face myself, and figure shit out.
Yeah. And you decided to take that on. So what has been like surprising about it? Like something you didn't expect that happened or that comes up
Oh,
or
how soft I am, how emotional. Like I pride myself on being this warrior tiger of a woman. Like I know that's my essence. I know that's the energy I give off when I step into a room. So like to feel myself start to get so soft and become so emotional and just so vulnerable, it's
yeah.
hard. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. So that feminine energy that we all have, like your
Yeah,
healing journey has helped you like tap into that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like
Do,
I feel myself getting more soft.
do you find you mentioned the word vulnerability? So do you find it scary or like,
Oh
or do
yes.
you like it?
Yes. Have you ever had a dream where you're like falling and you're trying to grab on something to like, yeah, that's how this
Yeah.
healing journey feels. Like I feel like I'm falling through and I'm just like trying to grab something to gain myself. And then maybe 1 minute I do and we're okay. I'm not falling for a second. And boom, something happens and I'm falling again.
Damn, yes. And you continue to go anyway. So you
Absolutely.
continue to work. So what's keeping you going? Like what do you envision?
Because I know what I know how I feel at my highest self. I know what I look like. I know that I'm capable of great things. So like with all the fear of what could go wrong or the fear of failing even within the healing process, it's not enough to scare me away from what I want. Like I want to come out of this and feel okay again. Like I don't want to have this extra burden of weight of unhealed or unprocessed emotions and feelings and things that I've suppressed and pushed down weigh me down anymore. Like I need that feeling of being free. I need to be able to be the light that I am.
Wow. Every man, that's so beautiful and heavy at the same time because I know that every woman that's listening, they want that as well. And they'll all be in their different like journeys. So I think like some people don't even know like they have some healing to do. Like this is just me. This is where I'm at. This is just what it is. Can you speak to like how do you know that there's something, at least in your experience, there's something that's going on that I need to tap into and do some work there?
Being a bitch is not normal. Like it's not. I know.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Wow.
No, for real. For real. Being a bitch is not normal. And for me, it's so not normal. It's uncomfortable. When I get irritable and I'm in a funky mood or in this state where I feel like I'm going to bite every person's head off who talks to me, I'm not okay. Like, mm-mm. Being a bitch is not normal. There's something in you that you need to talk about. There's someone you need to address something with. There's something going on that has you on edge to where you're being a bitch to everyone. Like this it's just not okay.
Oh, shit. That is so true though, because even for me, when I am being rude, mean, I'm short with my husband, my kids,
Yeah.
something is always wrong with
Yeah.
me.
Something's triggering you, something you're either tired, there's a lack of something, a need is not being met within us for us to become those bitches that, we get labeled as. But
Wow. Like that angry Black woman that comes up and just,
yeah,
yeah.
that's all of our unhealed trauma. That
Mm,
stereotype of the angry Black woman, that is the unhealed Black woman. That is the hurt,
mm.
that's the hurt Black woman. That's the Black woman who has been pushed down and mistreated for so long that she's like, fuck everybody.
Yes. Wow. Yes. Oh, wow. So someone's listening and they're like, damn, that's me. I didn't even realize, or like something I'm sure like you have said so much here that it's just been seriously so amazing and so authentically true. Like I just love it because I'm seeing myself in you. I'm like, yes, I get that. I get that. What do you suggest for, anyone listening that may at this time for one reason or another, they might not be able to get therapy, they might not be able to go do this, go do that, like some simple things that you feel like may help them in their journey to even just become aware if they're like, you know what, maybe she's right, maybe I do need to, like, just to even tap into the awareness of what is going on with me.
I'm a nature buff, so I'm gonna tell you, you need to get outside. You need to just sit and be present with nature. Just breathe and listen to birds. I don't know, it's something so soothing about hearing birds chirp, especially in the morning for me. Like that, it instantly calms me down. I don't know if anyone knows what grounding is, but walking barefoot outside, just letting your body get the natural electrons from the earth and let them pass through your body, that helps. um Taking time, just to breathe and be present and breathing. We think we're breathing because we're alive, but a lot of times I realize, especially through those years of like trauma or the stuff that I was working through, I was not breathing. I was not like inhaling deeply and breathing. I was holding my breath constantly.
That's very true. And the more I learn about breath work, it seems so simple. It's just like before I'm learning
Right?
about it,
Breathe.
yeah. But it seems like I'm breathing anyway. Why do I need it? What is that? But the more
Right?
I look into it,
But you're
like you
not.
said, we're not doing it on purpose.
No.
So that's a
We're
whole
we're doing
thing.
it just enough to survive. You know what I mean? Like, there's a theory that says that our blood is not really pushed through with our heart. Our lungs push our blood through our body. I don't know if you've heard that,
Oh
but
no.
if you think about it, like when we start, what gets the blood flowing? Exercise. What, gets your heart rate and stuff up, and it's not necessarily your heart pumping the blood throughout your body that makes it flow through your body. So when you start breathing and you're working your lungs and you're using the air in your body to push your blood through your full circulatory system, you're doing something great. So like, I don't know, try it right now. Just take a deep
I was
breath.
getting ready to say that when you said that, I took a deep breath and immediately I had this different kind of feeling. And it's
Right?
like, wait, that's why when you're all like worked up, like, take a deep breath.
Yes.
Like,
Just take a deep breath. Like
wow.
intentionally breathe. Breathe on purpose.
Dude, I'm a fucking nurse. I'm like, you connecting all the dots for me right now. Like, where do I sign up? Like, where's the class?
Right?
Like, what?
Well, I just be going to like different little YouTube videos and clips because, of course, with
Nah,
our
honey,
schedules, I don't necessarily have time.
I'm talking about your class. Your class.
Oh, it's coming soon. It's coming
For
soon to some
real.
teams near you. No, for real. For real.
Seriously, because like as you were talking, I was like, let me see what you're talking about. And you just feel the blood moving differently
Yes.
and it makes sense. They tell
Yes.
you, take a deep breath when you're nervous, when you're this, like, but you just
Yep.
connected it for me of like the why. Like the way you explained it so beautifully. I'm not bullshitting. Like,
Thank you. Thank
thank
you.
you. Like, what? What? That's awesome. I really appreciate that. Like, I got my
Yes.
whole little sheet of homework to do myself. If y'all listening, y'all have been blessed. Like, dude, I have a couple more questions to be conscious of our time. One is, I have this fun question that I want you to answer for me. One, well, two of them. Two of them. What is the most fun if they say, hey, you can get rid of every part of parenting that you don't necessarily care for, we'll take care of it for you. It'll all be perfect. What is something you would keep? What's the most fun or fulfilling or just like, yeah, you're not taking that part away from parenting for me?
Whatever they want.
Oh my
There's a
gosh.
lady who's viral now, like a black lady. I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, but she makes like gourmet meals and has mommy's restaurant. Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
When she brings them. Okay, well,
Look it
I
up.
did that back in the day for Talia and Jay all the time. I would turn my kitchen into a restaurant, or I would set it up and act like they waiter and take their or waitress and take their order and do all that cute stuff. And like, I don't know, even now, like I ask JJ, "What's for dinner? Like, what do you want? What's the menu for tonight?" And JJ will rattle it off, and they'll be like, "Yeah, this sounds good. This is what we want." And then I'll go to the store and get the ingredients, and I'll make it for them. And I love cooking for them.
Oh my
They always are so
gosh.
grateful.
And food is such a connector, you
Yes, it
know?
is. It is.
It is. And you just helped me to like, that just helped me to realize how important it is. Because oftentimes I
Mhm.
look at cooking as a task. Okay, let me hear what can I make in the shortest amount of time
No, for
with the
real.
least
And
amount
get
of
up
effort.
out of here.
Yeah, but the mommy's restaurant, I love that. Listen, I'm gonna
Yeah.
try it and I'm gonna let you know how it went because I think they would love that, even a 17-year-old, right? Because they like to be cooked
Yes,
for.
they
It
do. They
it does
do.
make them feel good when I'm like when because they have a few favorite meals and I'm like, okay, I'll make that. Like, you're right. They do really enjoy
Yeah.
that. And my mom, wow, this is making me realize like my mom pretty much cooks for us every week. Like we go over
Yeah.
there and we bring it Tupperware, okay? We taking stuff home, and like so yes, I didn't really realize how amazing that was. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I'm gonna try to
absolutely.
find her. I'll put that, I'll find who she's talking about and I'm gonna link that in the bio of this stuff. You cannot spend it on your kids and you cannot spend it on charity work. What are you doing?
Oh man. Buying a farm.
Ooh, tell us more.
Buying a farm.
You didn't even
Um,
hesitate. You didn't even hesitate. So I know this is something that
no.
you've been thinking about.
Yes, I would buy a farm and it would be the greatest place to visit and come to, and I have a vision.
Yeah, so part of the healing and I'm assuming like the HerSheMe and all of that coming together. Wow. And
Oh,
you would live there.
absolutely. And I would live there. And, people can come visit and there would be field trips had, and there'd probably be a little preschool on the farm. And yeah, it would just be a beautiful place to come to.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited to see it. I can just tell you really want to do that. So I'm excited to see that vision come true.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Is there anything that you are doing right now, a book you're reading, something that you feel that may be beneficial to any mom listening to on any part of their journey that they should check out? Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Yes, you need to listen to Moms Who Achieve podcast, first of all. If you're
Thank
not
you.
already, you
Thank
need to
you.
go and follow. Dr. Joe Dispenza, who you also talked about on a couple of episodes, he is amazing. I am reading currently Becoming Spiritual. I got this book last summer, right before my brother passed, and I
Mm,
put it down. It is kind of a hard read. You need to be alone and have some quiet time to really focus in on what the knowledge or the concept of the information is. But
is
life
it?
changing. It will help redefine the way you look and view at a lot of different things and change your mindset. Things that you don't realize, again, just as simple as breathing, will be brought to your attention.
Mm. I love that, and I have not read that. I've written that down, and I love him. My book currently is his. I think it's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself or something like that.
Okay.
So probably along the same lines, but I'm going to read his. I love him. Have you ever looked into his retreats he has?
No, I have not.
Yeah, so he has like these retreats where and some of them are a few days, some of them are like a week at a time where they like go into deep meditation and his work. So the whole premise is like changing who you are. Like people
Yeah.
have talked about like leaving an entire different person. So he just had one in February in Paris that I was wanted to go to but wasn't able to, but he's definitely on my list of retreats to go to. So in case you didn't know, I wanted to share that.
Yes,
Where
definitely. Maybe
can
we can
we
go together.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. Where can we find you? Anyone who's listening to you and they just would love to connect, if for nothing else, like, just to connect as moms. I know HerSheMe is getting ready to be on and popping. So how can they find you? Let us know.
I'm on social media. You can find me on Facebook at Talyssa Cuffee. On Instagram, the name is Lisa Lou to you. It won't be that much longer. I don't know what it's going to be, but that name
So y'all
has
better
to
follow
go.
today before she changed the name. I'm gonna put all these
Right?
links too. I'll put all these links in the show notes so everyone will be able
Okay.
to find you, follow you. Yeah, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you taking up the time to come and share your experience, be authentic, be open. I know that's not really easy because you're still on this healing journey and you're like talking about it in real time. I appreciate that. And just
Absolutely.
having some fun. Overall, this is like really fun. And this is
It
my first
is.
interview. So what the fuck? Like, yes.
And we bombed
Yes.
it.
Yes. Oh, you did. You made this shit fun. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm
Like
glad.
so
I'm
much.
glad. Thank you for having me. I
This is a
enjoyed it.
whole this is a whole healing conversation for me.
Right?
All right, girl. So I'll let you go. I appreciate you so much. I will talk to you soon. That wraps up this week. I hope you found value. Please share with a mom friend, subscribe, and leave a review. This helps this podcast to get into the minds of those who need it most. I would love to hear what you think about the episode. Find me on Instagram and Facebook at Moms Who Achieve. Looking forward to chatting with you next week. Take care.